Hey, it's me again. It's later at night, and they just released One Punch Man 103. I decided to talk about this one. Why? Because I'm a greedy, money-grubbing YouTuber who just needs them views. Also, I had some thoughts on it, but give me the money. I don't really have much. Don't say this again, Matt. You always say it. Okay. I think I don't have much to say about this one because most of the chapter stayed this. Well, the basic premise of the chapter stayed the same. You know, Does was like, oh, I'm gonna show you a My Mask thing or two, and then a My Mask was like, no. And then he obviously does his little My Mask thing, and we see, I guess, more of a My Mask, which we've seen before, but I'll just start talking about it. So the chapter starts off like it did last time, where a My Mask goes, where Does is like, I like you at My Mask, you're pretty cool, and he goes, I don't like you. She's like, marry me, and he's like, I don't kiss anyone before marriage, and then, yeah, that's it. That's the chapter. Cool. Thanks for watching. Bye. What a great start. What a star. Basically, by the end of it, we see what are the things that we have from before. And My Mask is still shown to be like, you know, this brutal character who kind of values his own sense of justice, and Does is defeated still. However, there are obviously a few things that do change, and the main thing is the inclusion of the Three Swordsmen, and this does change stuff for the future, and I like, the thing is, ultimately, Narinki's private squad don't die. That's the main change from this. That most people can, oh my god, who would have picked up that little Easter egg? When this, I mean, this could change the future, and I wonder why I do wonder why this chapter was rewritten, because it was fine before. Like, I liked it because it's like, whoa, My Mask is brutal. And it's something I did bring up when I was reviewing the latest chapters earlier, which is One Punch Man doesn't really like killing people. So for them to die like that, I guess you could say they're kind of monsterized, but it might have been a bit unfair, and it could also do with the official release, because I know like some of this happened because like Volume 22 is coming out, and maybe it was to do with you know, like maybe they looked at this and go like, hey, we don't want these people dying, can you tweet this so we can sell this better? It could be something like that. Then again, it could be something to do with the webcomic, where like, Narinki's private squad, they're so important, like they're key to the story. Or it sets up things differently. Maybe things have happened there that have changed like the influence on what happens here. Any case, I'll talk about the bits that changed, and then I'll talk about, well, first, the main thing that changed was, of course, My Mask didn't tear through them and just wreck Doas, you know, like, which I loved, because it was just like, it kept the brutality of it, but this time they went a bit different with, of course, he was like, you know, with Ian, instead of him being like, no, My Mask has got this, like, Ian instead is like, well, hang on, there's something about him I don't trust, because I saw him back at the S-Class, like, back at the invasion, and, you know, he was very brutal towards hostages, and, like, which makes sense logically, that Ian would be like, hang on, like, this guy said he'll leave it to me, but I don't trust him. So it was great when they did show back up, and before My Mask could actually kill these, like, people who had just been mind-controlled, they show up and save the day. They hold back the hostages, they hold back Narinki's private squad, you know, Ian slams them to the wall, Bushi drill, bumps up, a Komatachi uses her air slices, and then I personally think that the beating on Does is actually better though this time, just how great he just grabs her face and smashes her into the wall. It's brutal but great, and mostly Ian, like, I thought Bushi Drill's probably my favourite just because his design was super cool. Ian, just this character was just peak hero in like the greatest ways, like his conversation with a My Mask and just like how he handled the situation was so good, and like nothing to the other two at all, but it was just like when the My Mask just that conversation, what do you think you're doing? Well, he's like, that was a brilliant plan, sending us away so you could get through to the whip as a perfect ambush. That was your plan, wasn't it? And just the stare was so good when My Mask is fuming and Ian just gives the blank stare, like, I love that so much. See, that's probably my favourite thing about the whole chapter, was just this conversation that went on. Of course, Bushi Drill, instead of Ian playing it coy, he's like, guy, My Mask, be honest, you were going to kill them, weren't you? And this is a thing that My Mask does, in any case, which I guess was like the first hints towards his true self, was the fact that he doesn't accept his own faults. Like, he's like, what are you on about? This isn't about me, this is about you. Like, he did this back when the S-Class Heroes were meeting, and he was like, why haven't I been invited? And I just went through it just to make sure I was right on this stuff, and I just looked at Tatsumaki's response like, well, because we all hate you, go away. But, like, they're all, like, making their points. He either ignores them, which I remember bringing up when I first reviewed that chapter, or he retorts them. He doesn't ever accept what people are saying about him. It's like, he can't do stuff wrong, everyone else is doing stuff wrong. He's fine the way he is. Like he said about Zombie Man, where like Zombie Man is, I can't remember what Zombie Man says, I was looking it up, I'm not going to find it. Basically, Zombie Man says something to him, and then like, you know, and then my master's like, well, that seems a bit, like, that seems a bit bizarre, like, that sounds like something a monster would do. Are you a monster? So, like, to purposely aggravate it and change the subject, because this is what my master does. Like, this is what he did here, where he was like, you know, they ruined my justice. Like, they are not who they should be. And from what we see, at least, too, there's some cool stuff that happens here as well. Just like small design stuff, like obviously he has Goem and he's like, you know, you're obscuring justice, you're ignoring my call, you're ignoring my mission, like, you are he basically calls them failures as heroes. Like, I'm going to speak to upper management, of course. There is a point as well where he's going to kill them, because, I mean, he's brutal enough to kill, like you know, Narinki's private squad. We've seen it before, we saw he was going to do it again this time, and he's like, you know, they are obstructing justice, and he looks at them with such malicious intent. I love that design, by the way. The way he looks at them in the eyes is so good. Like, just like his eyes starting to blur out a bit, like he's losing focus on what's important, really, as a hero. And then, of course, Doess is alive, and I love that, like, I was a bit taken aback by the fact that she can, like, bend her body, like, whoever guess, like, because she's all about, like, sexual stuff, like, maybe, like, oh, my body's so flexible. And it's just mostly I love, the small thing I love about this is the design of her heel actually being a little monster too, having a little face. I love that. It was super good, where like you just see the teeth and a bit of drool. Super cool design. But then of course she lashes out with her tongue, and she is taken aback by what we see and what, wow, because there have been little bits of like his body changing. We've seen this. Yet when she like stabbed him through the eye, it cracked, and the mask, as you will, has been damaged, and it fixes up by the end. But there's obviously, we see that there is something underneath my mask that we will see at some point in the future, like something he's hiding, like his attitude. He's like a monster in the sense, like, maybe if we had to look at it like this as a guess of what my mask has done is, I mean, first of all, that art's great, you know, just how my mask looks pretty scary, but maybe if I had to look at it, because monsters tend to be quite obsessed with something, so maybe he was, as we've seen, he's quite obsessed with his idea of justice. Maybe, which sounds weird for it to be like that, but like, maybe he was so obsessed with justice he became a monster of justice. But at the same time, that wouldn't necessarily explain his design, like why he looks like that. But I'm just like spitballing. I don't really know. Like, if you've got any ideas about my mask, no webcomic spoilers, please. I don't know if anything happens, but if like you have any ideas about why my mask is like this, I'd love to hear it. I feel like I know this series pretty well, but I don't have a clue on how this works. So I'd like to hear him like suggest like other ideas, other theories. Once again, no webcomic spoilers. And that's when the crew turn out to be okay, Narinki's private squad, which actually saves, which after all the commotion, after Doess is finally dead, is what saves the Iron, which is what saves the Iron, Akomatachi and Bushi Drill. And then he's like, get out of my sight, and I think it's at this point when he goes like, you're a disgrace, like, no, he doesn't say that, no, he doesn't, because I love Iron's response so much. It was so good when he's like, I guess the apple didn't fall far from the tree, and then Iron's like, thank you, I'm honoured that you'd say that. Iron, like, I have like a newfound respect for Iron, like, just like being there, calling out the stuff. Any case, and my master is like, leave me alone, go away, get these people out of here, and like, also like they break the tension by being like, oh my god, it's a my mask, and then one of the girls is like, oh my god, sign my shirt, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's what you wanted to sign. You want to sign her trousers. But I guess the main thing for this is, this stuff's fixable, but with Narinki's private squad being alive now, how's this, oh, question I guess most people is like, how's it going to affect the story, because we moved past this a long time ago, and I think more than anything, it's not like massive, because all you could do to change the story, like to pretty much like change it a little bit, keep it on track, is literally just have them escort, yeah, have them all escorted out. Maybe they meet up with Child Emperor up there, and then they go down as a group. Maybe Child Emperor's like, no, like once again he has his moment of where he's like, I have to go back down there to save Tari, or maybe and like Yana Komotachi and Bushido are like, we'll go down there, you know, we'll be your support, like we'll do what we can to help out. Maybe Child Emperor's like, okay, that's fine, but the rest of you stay up here. It's not too difficult to fix. I guess the only thing would be like Devil Long Hair. But it also does change stuff in the future slightly when he's like, you guys are obstructing justice, how dare you? Where at the same time when, you know, hey, when you asked to swap opponents, you were obstructing justice then, weren't you? My mask, are you a bit one-sided? Like, he is a bit one-sided. But I think overall the story isn't affected too much from it. I am just curious as to why. I'd love to know if people have an answer. If it's webcomic stuff, you can just say things happened in the webcomic and changed it. I don't want any spoilers on that. Or if it's to do with like more of a business sense where people are instead saying things like, oh, like, you know, hey, hold back on the death. I'd love to know what if there is an answer to this, because I read Murata's tweets a bit, but I couldn't really decipher what it was because Google Translate wasn't working great on Twitter. But yeah, that's my opinions on stuff. I think the changes, it's ultimately, this may have been a bit pointless because, wow, what a great time to bring that up at the very end of the review. Where, when I say it's pointless, is like this review, because nothing really changed too much that I was like, that's disgraceful. But I think more than anything, it just adds a bit more to characters, like, but we instead get to see a bit more of Momo's personality, like how he views justice. We get a bit more of the personality of the swordsman, where like instead of a Komotachi who we've seen fawns over pretty people, is even a Komotachi, he's like, what the hell are you playing at? Like, there's a limit to Komotachi, whereas Ian and Bushido are immediately kind of suspicious, especially Ian. Ian carried the conversations this chapter, not letting anything that Momo tried to do bother him. It was super good. But what do you guys think of this new revised thing? I'd like to know what you guys think. Was it, like, is it important? Is it not? Do you care? Do you not care? Anything like that would be pretty cool to know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next chapter, but like probably about a month after that chapter comes out, because that's what I do. Okay, bye. Zoom on the face.